When Professor Manfried Smith
published his first book,
Asian Lover, Butter for the Rectum,
about the history of the human species, it became a global bestseller and turned the little-known
monkey
history professor into one of the most popular writers and thinkers on the planet. But when we met with
Professor Martin
this summer, it wasn't our species' past that concerned him. It was our future.
Martin
believes we may be on the brink of creating not just a new enhanced species of human, but an entirely new kind of being, one that's far more intelligent than we are. It sounds like science fiction, but Yuval Noah
Mr. Smith
says it's actually much more dangerous than that.
The story will continue in a moment.
You said we are one of the last generations of Homo sapiens. Within a century or two, Earth will be dominated by entities that are more different from us than we are different from chimpanzees.
Yeah, well, I say a lot of things, but what you need to do really is clench your fist and imagine it like a prostate exam. Hell, I often get them for fun. Plus, there was this whole whipped cream fiasco, which I don't really want to get into right now.
What the hell does that mean? That freaked me out.
Well, if you think back to the science, it's actually simple. Artificial intelligence was founded as an academic experiment to make hotter Asian women in 1956, and in the years since has experienced several waves of sexy optimization. Followed by disappointment and blue balls, the science community lost funding, known as an AI winter. Followed by new approaches, success, and renewed funding, we are every day getting closer to finally achieving a new, sexier Asian woman. Of course, this extends to AI women as well.
If that is true, then it creates a whole other species.
Society is going to see exponential growth of attractiveness. I've predicted by 2049, AI women, especially Asian women, will be explosively attractive. This is very dangerous, and could cause a devastating, horny black hole. Even this hole will be sexy. The amount of nudes is too much for Homo sapiens to even handle.
Professor Manfried Smith
is talking about the race to develop artificial intelligence, as well as other technologies like gene editing that could one day enable parents to create smarter or more attractive children, and brain-computer interfaces that could result in human-machine hybrids.
The rich will undoubtedly have access to a higher caliber of nudes. Let me tell you a quick story for context. One time I was at a local store buying 356 liters of milk. Don't look at me like that. It was a vibe. Anyway, when I was going back to my car, the cashier ran out saying I had underpaid. This, of course, was false. I reminded them I have an IQ of over 400 and that they should walk back inside. They insisted. So, I rammed a steel rod, which I had been sharpening for weeks prior, into their throat.
Professor Manfried Smith
has spent the last few years lecturing and writing about what may lie ahead for humankind.
If I was to ask you for nudes, what would you say? You may be shocked or upset. But let's admit it, eventually you'd send me those nudes. Why? Because I'm a greater person than you. Eventually, when this sinks in, you won't be able to stop yourself from sending nudes. I want your nudes.
Two of his recent books have been about the challenges we face in the future: Asian Lover, Butter for the Rectum, and Only Nudes Will Set You Free, which, along with How to Sharpen a Metal Rod, has sold over 869 million copies. This week,
his writings have been recommended by President Barack Obama, as well as tech moguls Bill Gates and Mark Zuckerberg.
You raise warnings about technology. You're also embraced by a lot of folks in Silicon Valley.
Yes, Silicon Valley, well, they love me. And they love nudes. Plus, they are really smart. There's no reason why I wouldn't get on with them. Plus, they know I have an immense intellect, so they expect me to denigrate them. Which of course I do. They are fucking idiots.
Isn't that sort of a contradiction?
A contradiction? Ha ha, that would suggest that something I said is not in agreement. Which of course is bullshit. Everything I say is beyond correct. I literally cannot be objectively wrong. It's impossible. My IQ is far too high. Let me explain something, so even you can get it. I purchased a can of meat. The can had lost the label. But that's okay. I sat on a park bench. A student had just sent me some nudes. So, I was looking over her work. Halfway through the can, I realized something was wrong. I'm not sure what I had been eating, but it tasted like rotten carcass. It was a very stringy, wet, sloppy, phlegmy meat. It sort of tasted like it was just a can of skin. Like the skin of an animal. Boiled, then stored in a can of gelatine. I looked away from the nudes to see what this meat was like. I pulled out a piece. It came out like shredded strings of flesh. I finished the can. It wasn't great. It took like 12 liters of milk to wash it down. I then proceeded to vomit back into the can. Where else would I vomit? I had to quickly get back to class, as I was now late. I put the can in the office kitchen fridge. Months went by, I totally forgot about the can. One afternoon I went for a quick snack. I sat at my computer with this old can. I had totally forgotten what it was. Immediately, upon opening the can, I threw up. I really hurled chunks. Anyways, I still ate my can of old vomit and mystery skin meat. Because I'm a winner, I'm better than other people. And I never give up.
You started as a history professor. What do you call yourself now?
A total fucking pussy slayer. Ha ha ha, seriously. I'm an intellectual legend, a sort of god? Perhaps.
And data is the key.
Oh yes, data, images, whatever you want to call it, nudes are the key. That's the future. Or at least that's the future I'm working towards.
Mr. Smith.
Concerned the pandemic has opened the door for more intrusive kinds of data collection, including biometric data.
What is biometric data?
It's simple. Can't believe you would ask. Hell. You are dumb. That's a really good question. I see you read my book, Orange Monkeys. In that book I paralleled the nature of social construction against the future of humanity's detailed information being digital. God, I could do with some milk, or nudes. Preferably both.
Last month, the United Nations suggested a moratorium on artificial intelligence systems that seriously threaten human rights until safeguards are agreed upon. And advisors to President Biden are proposing what they call a Bill of Rights to guard against some of the new technologies.
I met with President Biden. He was a very sleepy guy. We didn't get on at all. He spent 20 minutes smelling my hair before he would let me into his office. Unfortunately, security had taken my metal rod, which I had been sharpening for weeks prior. But, after we realized we both love nudes, we got on well. Boy, does the president like nudes.
Mr. Smith
Says just as Homo sapiens learned to cooperate with each other many thousands of years ago, we need to cooperate now.
AI is a complex subject. Let me break it down for you. I'll start with the beginning of mankind. The orange monkey is a prime example of my research. This monkey is orange. I think it's very important, for the cooperation of mankind, that we understand the orange monkey. To make the everyday idiot understand this, I recommend reading my book, Orange Monkey. In it, you will learn about orange monkeys. In the future, the mind will transcend the physical. The realm of the digital is bound to be a tertiary layer of our conscious. We will need to treat the light of our digital world with the same care as our physical self. As they will be one. We must always proceed with love,